people come in. Shout out to everybody, man. Big shout out to Curtis King. I know a lot of people I've been seeing on our community posts and stuff like that they've been waiting for this type of collab. You know what I'm saying? So more collabs on the way, something that we working on. But this is definitely the listening. You know what I'm saying? So this will probably be the first of many.
It's like a 2-for-1 type of deal.
It is a 2-for-1. You know what I'm saying? With Curtis King being a content creator in our same space, but also being an artist. You know what I'm saying? And producer and songwriter. You know what I'm saying? But I'll give all of those accolades in the formal intro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just letting the people come in, you know, and get settled before we get this listening happening. But how everybody doing, man? Everybody good?
Yeah, man, we good, man. How about you?
Man. Been dealing with the pollen, man.
I know. That's what I was telling Curtis earlier. I was like, man, this pollen in Atlanta is crazy.
Been dealing with the
fucking
pollen.
lemon pepper wings outside,
Bruh.
I saw a meme with like a snowblower.
Yeah.
And that shit was yellow.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Hey, that's real shit.
Thankfully,
though,
it don't affect me, so I can imagine what it's probably doing to you.
Bro. I've been to the ENT doctor. I'm on all types of antibiotics, bro. It hasn't been good.
Yeah.
It's not been good. But I'm here today, and I'm doing okay.
Glad you made it.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm here. But look, today we got Curtis King. He is rapper, producer, and songwriter. He has credits for working with such artists as Murs, Noah James, TDE artists, Ab-Soul, Glasses Malone, Mac 10, and more. He is from the West Coast.
Nigga work with Ab-Soul?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. You didn't know that?
He's from the Inland Empire, California. None other than Curtis King, YouTuber content extraordinaire.
We should have like a.
I tell it.
You should have like
you, man, we need them burp birds.
Right, I know you should have a button where you press like
horns.
People clapping or some shit like that. Like we need something, man.
Yo.
We need to make the guests feel more special, bro.
That nigga setup looks sexy as
man,
hell.
that shit look. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. When he came on camera, when he was on camera, I was like, they go to setup. Like soon, because I already know how it's
that nigga about to do Quiet Storm, bro. Hey, yo, this is the Quiet Storm. Now tuned in.
No, y'all always like your setup, man. This setup be clean.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Soon he popped up on camera, I was like, the setup.
Respect.
Yeah, man.
Man, thank y'all for having me. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. It took a long time to get it this sexy.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the revisions. You know what I'm saying? I think that's one thing about being a content creator, man. We're always looking to upgrade, whether it's equipment, the look, the feel. You know what I'm saying? You've definitely had a lot of revisions of your spot.
Man, shout out to having honest people in your life too. Shout out to my wife. She didn't tell me a few times. She walked in here and said, it looked like a trap house. I said, what you mean? She said, well, she put something on the wall.
Yeah.
And that's when she got me into stuff that usually, you know, a man like me ain't really caring about, like Pinterest and Amazon list and all of that. And I started looking I was like, wait a minute. So they don't just have like menu items and like girly stuff on Pinterest. You actually got like aesthetics and studio setups. And when I started looking at that, I was like, one buy after another is what equal out. I see we got the same light in the corners too. We had the same.
Yeah.
We definitely get the same Amazon situation going on.
Yeah, man.
I was gonna say, I see you got that's the Mamba mentality sign in the back.
Yeah. I was also my wife got that because she knew.
Yeah,
she know. It is a mentality, but it is something to where it's good to wake up to that every day. I try to put messages around me, like even above my toilet. There's a hustle harder. It's as cheesy as it says. It's like like I found it at a Burlington or something. I was like, I need that when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah. Now I had the same sign in my office, and my wife got it for me. Actually, she got that for me for like one of my birthdays. She got me the book and everything. So
fire!
I have the book, the Mamba Mentality book, on my desk, and then I have the Mamba Mentality sign on my wall in my office.
Hey, shout out the Instagram ads that be targeting our wives with, right?
I know. Straight up.
Yeah, but you the Kobe stan though. Like you're like top 3 Kobe stan people I know. You know what I'm saying? Nah, for real. Like we used to have epic sports debates back in the day. We're not even gonna get into it because it's gonna go crazy. Yeah. It's gonna go crazy. But Curtis, I wanted to ask you this, right? Like, because I didn't originally, so I found you originally as a YouTube content creator. I didn't realize that you were a rapper until you did the interview with La Russell. And I want to say that was around the COVID time, because you were talking about taking your music off of streams and all of this type of stuff. And I remember around that time you was going like through crazy rants and you know, like just going back and forth emotionally with your music and the music industry. But I didn't real like I found you as a YouTube content creator. What made you get into YouTube?
Good question. So when I met that time period where I was talking about streaming, I had already done YouTube for about 7 years already, right? But before that, I already had a career as an artist and a producer for about 15 plus years. I've had a lot of success out here on the West. I've had a lot of success. I mean, you mentioned Mersey, who brought me on my first, US tour, and that was amazing to be able to experience that. I've been able to work with Kendrick Lamar and Absol and all the folks that you named on that list, really just by my own relationship building. Some of it was just pure luck and the fact that I lived 10 minutes away from what a TDE studio used to be. And, that's where I get half of my name. Curtis King comes from Curtis Middle School, which is in Carson. But as I maneuvered this industry, I started to realize there's things that you think the industry's about, and there's things that you don't realize how political it can get. And with those politics, sometimes you could be the most talented person in the room. Sometimes you could be the most sound-minded person. But if somebody don't like your ass, they don't like your ass. Or if somebody don't want you to be a part of the conversation, they don't want you part of the conversation. Okay, bet. So then what does somebody like me do when I realize that I get in certain rooms with A&Rs and I start talking their language as an artist and a producer, and they're looking at me like, what you know about that? I noticed I wasn't getting invited back in those rooms again. It was almost like they were like, wait a minute, are you trying to take my job? Or wait a minute, how can I run game on you if you know better? At the time, I didn't realize this. I just thought it was like, damn, maybe it's one of my character flaws. Maybe my beats are not good enough. But I can't imagine how many artists have asked the same question and just quit. Like, maybe it's just not for me. Me being a self-starter, me being somebody that all my life I see my pops, build his own businesses. I saw him open up a photo lab in Compton, and the riots came through and knocked it out, and he built it up again. I've seen my mom play the piano in all these different churches all the way around LA, and I've seen churches that did her dirty and some that did her really well, but she picked herself back up and did it again no matter what. So that's my examples, right? And so it just didn't make sense to me to be the smartest person in the room for a lot of these rooms. It didn't make sense to me to have these answers, but then rely upon a middleman to get me paid. So I just decided to go straight independent, even if I didn't know what the hell that meant or what I was doing. And that's what kind of birthed the whole DIYer mentality that I preach on my platform. And so I was like, you know what? You're not going to let me in the door. Some of y'all might even blackball me because of what I know or whatever the case may be. Nothing crazy, but just the information and the threat. I said, then why don't I just do it myself? And when I figure out what this looks like, even if I don't have an example of what exactly I want. And that's what I've been building for 20 years now. And this year is probably the best year all around as an artist, as a producer, as an independent artist, and now as a content creator. That's what brought me to YouTube, was that I had to kiss ass to get on these platforms to get an interview. I had to keep the contact warm. I had to do all this, and it's like, why can't I just go up there because I do good business, I'm professional, when I rap well, and I have relationships. Right. I said, why are you asking for a handout when you could do it yourself? So I built my own platform so that anytime I want to get an interview, I can just talk to myself and my audience.
That's what's up. YouTube, man. I tell people all the time. Yeah. That's what's up.
We all got the same internet. Some people act like we got different, like rich people got different internet. No, we got the same internet.
Same shit, bro. Same shit.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
You talked about working with some of the TDE artists. How did you get in those rooms? I know you said you live 10 minutes away, so obviously proximity was one of those factors. But how did you get into those rooms?
man, crazy story. And I just had the homie over to tell the story, but he goes by Najang Goes, an amazing artist. But also he was an artist back then that went by Ben Grimm, and he was on a label called Street Beat Entertainment. On that label, there was a singer named Javante that you guys have heard of course.
Yeah.
He was on that label, and then also was a guy named Ab-Soul who was on that label. And because they were on the same label, he was like, yo, me and Grimm have been working and making music together, producing all that. He was like, I want to introduce you to my guy, Ab-Soul. I think he's gonna be next up. And I'm all like, yeah, go ahead, bring him through. I was recording my grandma's patio in Carson, and he brought him through. Wasn't a man of many words. We might have been in our early 20s at this time, but he came through, and I had a beat and a song that my homie had jumped on that he wanted to get Ab-Soul on. Ab-Soul sitting down on the couch to himself, just nodding his head and just like mumbling. I had never seen anybody write like that except for Jay-Z in the Black Album documentary, right? The Fade to Black.
Yeah, the Fade to Black.
So I didn't know that's what he was doing. I was getting insecure. I was looking at my homie Grimm like, yo, is he feeling the beat? Like, does he like it? And I said, oh, you need some paper and pad? He said, no, I'm good. What you mean you good? Like, I didn't say that, but I'm like, all right, I turn my office chair back around and just kind of nodded my head. About 10 minutes later, I texted the homie like, damn, he not saying nothing. We not communicating. He's like, he sent me a text, one word. He said, watch. I say 5 minutes after that, Ab-Soul stands up, delivers a verse that sounded to me like one of his biggest influences in Jay-Z. It sounded like a Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z coming out of those lyrics. It was a format that I had never seen before. Anyways, he and I continued to make records because he liked the beats that I was producing. And he told me, he said, man, you've built with me and you've done a lot of work with me, like free, like pro bono. I wasn't charging him because I wanted to work with an artist of his caliber. He said, I'm about to sign over to TDE. He showed me when he got the tattoo the first day he got it. He was like, give me a CD full of beats. A CDR, mind you, full of beats. And I'm like, all right, cool. I give him a CD full of beats. He's like, I'm gonna float it around TDE Studios, and that he did. Matter of fact, he took that CD there, and I'm like, damn, I could work with J-Rock. Kendrick wasn't Kendrick yet. He was K-Dot.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I want to work with J-Rock. So then I made this beat that had 808s and gunshots on it, thinking like it was gonna be like a Bone Thugs and Tupac kind of version or whatever. That shit was terrible. But that beat is the beat that Schoolboy Q auditioned on before he got signed to TDE.
Wow.
And Punch was like, yo, he saw the potential in Schoolboy from being able to rap over that terrible beat. That was part of it. And there's a clip around that circulates where he's like, Curtis, that beat was terrible, but you put me on, my boy. Shout out to you. So that's what kind of got me in that circle, was that really just producing for Ab-Soul, him having that CD and circulating around. But even then, that didn't keep me in the room. What kept me in the room was that I knew how to do more than produce. There was a situation where I went there because I produced a record. First, I produced a record where him and Kendrick called Watch Your Lady. But later on, I produced another record for a project called Long Term 2. And I heard him talking to Dave Free about like, yo, we need to get this graphic art done for your project. What's good with your boy? He like, yo, he's lagging it. In that moment, I said, say something, Dewan. Or say something, Curtis. Dewan's my government name. I said, because you know how to make artwork. Never had done it for an artist at this caliber at this point, but I said, I can make artwork. They said, you can make artwork, Curtis? I said, I think so. Like I said, yeah. Dog, I produced the title track of Long Term 2, and I created the artwork for it. And it's a little known fact for people, but that's what kept me in the room, was that I knew my position. I knew some days you 6-man, some days you a point guard. Some day you just got to know what they need in that moment. And I made myself a resource, and so I kept getting invited. I wasn't a type person always taking photos in the studio and all of that. I was just there, and I was invited on a few occasions. And Ali was like real cool about just kind of showing his process to me as well. But a lot of that is luck. A lot of that is just, God being involved in that situation. But honestly, just the association changed the trajectory of my career for sure.
Wow. I got to hear this beat now.
Which one? The gunshots on 808s?
Yeah, the one at school.
I ain't heard it since. I ain't heard it since, bro. I talked to Ali in an interview a week and a half ago, And I'm like, bro, you the last one I got it. He was like, oh, I think they put that out. And I listened to the project. I was like, it ain't on there. It ain't on there. I gotta hear it.
Does Ali still is he still the engineer for TDE?
Yeah, but he's doing a lot of entrepreneurial things with engineers.
Okay.
And so he's still his ear is still his ear. It's very sought after, but he's doing some really, really amazing things for independent artists.
That's what's up.
And man, it's definitely something that he came and talked to us about with engineers. I love what they're doing. They're doing some direct to consumer stuff and all that. But proud of those dudes.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, look, let's get into the music, since that's kind of the area that we've been tapping into. So the old joint is called "Banging on a Trash Can." I saw the title. I said, okay, this is interesting. So go ahead and intro that song and why you picked it.
This is just to prove that my Drake hate runs very long, very deep. Back in 2009, I had already been a few years established as an artist in terms of just an underground artist, I should say, at the time. Not even indie, but underground. And I came up with this idea to take all of the TV themes that I came up with on Nickelodeon and make a project and just sample them. At that point, I was sampling everything I could think of. And the song "Banging on the Trash Can" by Doug Funny. Yes, that Doug Funny. Before Disney, before they messed him up. Before Disney, when it was with Nickelodeon. I said, I want to sample that because the drums, as a producer, I'm heavy on my drums. And so I sampled it. And I was like, let's make a song on that. And what you're going to hear is a very prepubescent Curtis King before, his deep voice kicked in and the raspiness and all that. But I thought I was getting my raps off. But yeah, at that time, I couldn't stand anything Drake stood for.
All right, here we go.
On the track can, bang it. On the
This is insane.
Oh, he was trying. I was like, I know why they give him 4 verses. That's showing you the age on that one. That boy didn't know about reverb. He was trying. Oh, he was trying.
Was that it?
God bless his soul. God bless him.
Oh man, I love it.
Was that your first time listening to that song in a minute?
No, I played it recently in one of my streams. I was
you
like,
did?
oh,
Wow.
man. Because the thing about it is, like, I tried to keep myself open to always being a student. Like, I never had a moment where I was like, I know so damn much. You can't tell me nothing.
Right.
So there's a lot of like leaps in my skill set that have happened over the years that just don't make sense to a lot of people. But I'm like, you got to realize that when I was in my producer bag, I would take a break from my artist bag. I could never quite get the balance at the same time. Mm-hmm. And what I noticed is that after a certain amount of hours that I put in as an artist, when I took breaks, they were actually better for the skill set, because then I could look at it from a zoomed out point of view and I could see things like, I wouldn't use that punchline, or the tonality is not right. It doesn't even sound like your normal speaking voice, right? Like things that you don't really see until it comes with maturity. Even my production, like I used to want to rap on any beat that I made, right? But that's not the case. Like there are certain beats that are great, a better contrast for your voice, just things that you learn with the process. I'm grateful that I've been able to be around as long as I have, learning and being around all these amazing people that, give me game along the way. But yeah, that was definitely leaving me to my own devices in the early 2000s.
And when you said that was 2009, what year was that?
2009. Yeah, 2009.
Yeah, that was, yeah. That, cause the beat, I was trying to place like a year, but it definitely sounded like something Wale would end up rapping over.
It's that go-go sound.
Yeah,
I for sure got influenced at that time, for sure. Yeah, the percussion.
Yeah,
I listened to this and I said, when I was making a beat, I said, ooh.
He's like, ooh, this.
Like, you gotta understand, when you're listening to certain records as a younger producer, you're listening and you were like, I can't make that. But like, if I ever get something close to that, you were like, wait a minute, we got something here. I forget what the song was at that time. In 2009, he had a song that was like a go-go song. It was really popular for him. I think I low-key was like borrowing influence from that, because I heard the drums and I said, if I do it, I could do like I could like let those drums almost play like the go-go percussion that you hear.
Yeah.
Bouncing it. But I mean, you know, close enough was all Curtis had at that point in time.
So you said the Drake hate runs deep.
Oh yeah.
I'm a DIYer, so I've seen all of the recent videos. But why did you hate Drake, and why do you still hate Drake?
Because I'm a hater. I'm just no, you know what it was. You know what it started at. I can tell you I can tell you the day it started.
Damn. Okay.
It's like a dream sequence, don't it? The day it started for me was when I realized that me and him were both light skinned.
Okay.
And he was doing things that I would never do in my light skinnedness. Like duck lips, like waving his hand. So I started trying to figure out opposite things to do with him, because there were like ladies in the crowd who were like, "Oh, you kind of remind me of Drake." No, the fuck I don't. No, I don't. And so it just became this weird little situation where I would do things that I promise you, either he had somebody on the internet looking at me, or he himself was using the same internet. It'd be times where I was like, all right, he gonna be beardless, I'm gonna grow a beard. And all of a sudden he grows a beard and he's in a video with Rick Ross. I'm like, what is this? I'm like, you know what? Let me grow my hair out to an afro. This nigga grows his hair out to an afro. And I'm trying to separate my brands because I understand why they see the light-skinned man with the beard. I'm like, no, we're two different cloths. Right? I've never been to Canada. It's two different cloths. I'm from Southern California, I'm from LA, like I'm from Carson, California. And so as I started, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go all the way out. I'm gonna try to do my best to look like Baby Sinbad. I tell you what happened. He stopped copying. Allegedly. All I know is when I saw that, I was like, he represents the exact thing that I have tried my best to fight against stereotypically when people think of like the light-skinned black stereotypes that come along with it.
Yeah.
Like he's like the jock in the 90s TV show that just says all the wrong things, is not self-aware, that it's just things that I saw that I was like, you're that, and you're proudly that. Now, I would never take away from the skill set. I think he's a fantastic singer and rapper of ghost-written lyrics. I think he's amazing at that.
Of ghost-written lyrics.
So it's been since like he came out, because you said 09. He came out like in 09.
Yeah,
that's it,
I believe
right?
Yeah.
You know what the coldest part about that is? There was a competition for his first show in Riverside, California.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was like, maybe this is a strategic way for me to aggressively separate my brand from his. If I opened up for him at Riverside College, even back then, even though the songs don't sound like it, I was thinking back then. And I did his competition. It was supposed to open up for him and Trey Songz, 2009. For all I know, they reviewed those videos because you know the funniest part about it? And this sounds hilarious saying it out loud. In that video, I did one of these numbers.
Oh, man.
Then this nigga started doing this.
Man.
It started there, but I was like, that's not enough. My thing is who he has become, the way that he has shifted the game, the way that he has shifted the focus away from what I think are standards and code of hip hop culture, the way that he's being able to separate himself from that, because in this generation of clout, that rules everything above in some people's minds. Clout is above culture. That clout above culture, that emphasis on I can go into whatever culture I want and take pieces of it and be accepted for that. That was where it started to become, okay, I have more than just the issue of him copying beards. I look at this and I say, this to me is going in the opposite direction of the hip hop that I came to love and the one that I appreciate, the ones that shows love to those who came before you. And not to say he didn't do that, but I think that he is a side effect of a bigger issue of why the game became so zombified over the last 15 years. Why media became so zombified. Because for him, as Mos Def said, then took it back, or Yasin Bey, he made music that was very, very, how do you put it? Safe.
Yeah.
It's shopping with an edge. That's not what hip hop is. Hip hop didn't come here to be accepted. Hip hop came here to be whatever society's saying. Okay, we doing the opposite of that. Like it was about rebelling against something. Ice Cube said that one time. Hip hop is about rebelling against something. It became to the point where it was like, well, what are we rebelling against now? Now we are the new corporations. The same thing that they assassinated the character of MC Hammer, niggas have become.
Yo, man, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that. That's a great point.
This man talking, bro.
Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking at this like I'm old enough and young enough too to remember. Like, yo, MC Hammer got crucified for getting a Pepsi commercial. Now we like, oh man, his bag right because he got a Pepsi commercial.
McDonald's meals.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that he was such a safe bet because, you know, he's
parents loved him. Parents loved him. Yep.
Racially ambiguous.
Yep.
He's safe in ads.
Yep.
Even when he says mob ties,
Yep.
I'm sure there's like a lot of families out there, a lot of white families who are like, he's not really in the mob. He's just saying that. He's just crazy. That's the part that I have an issue with, a genuine issue with, because it's not so much about blaming him as much as you were the mascot for this era that I would love to forget about.
Yeah.
Because there's artists like myself, forget me for a second. There's artists that I think are the most talented lyricists and writers of our time that got deprioritized, partly because the machine said that was time for it, but also too because the poster child, who you're saying is the poster child of hip hop, openly admits to using ghostwriters.
Yeah, you know, I said, hey man, how many years?
Kim been fighting this fight for a long time. So he loves what you're saying right now, Curtis. He's loving it.
Bro, the names I've had to endure over the year, the pain.
Yeah. I just want people to understand my love for hip hop runs stronger than any hate that I could have for Drake ever. I just want you to understand this comes from a place of, I wish somebody was around you to consult you the same way corporations get consulted about culture.
Damn.
I feel that. Look, I followed everything that you were saying in regards to the Kendrick and Drake beef, and I feel like your takes were some of the best spot on takes out of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Not named that in hip hop because I feel like we was on point too. But I honestly agree with you where K-Dot was a cleansing and it was spiritual. What was happening and what is currently happening. And we're seeing it where, you know, David really knocked down Goliath in this instance. Yeah.
Well, and then also too, like, you could put a few artists in that position to do their own version of it. I think that you can't give all credit to Kendrick, even though I think that he has had the most impressive. You got to give a little credit to first Joe Budden, who people don't want to do. They want to give that credit to. He started knocking down the foundation of the pillars, just chipping away at it. Pusha T made some real damage.
Man.
Yes, sir.
And then by the time Kendrick came, he didn't need that, but I'm just saying it to say, I think it takes an effort like that because people try to make it seem like people are trying to break down Drake. No. It is the Drake that the machine created that people are breaking down. It's not Drake that's strong. Drake is showing you how weak someone is in that position when they don't own the machine. He's showing you right now how things can turn. The thing that is the strongest is the machine when it props you up, when it puts you on all of these late night TV shows, it puts you on Saturday Night Live, it puts you in the magazines front and center, it pushes you, like when it pushes you, it takes a long time for that to be crumbled, but damn it, when you think about it, 15 years in the game and then 8 months, almost a year now, it just shows you like nobody in that position is bigger than the game.
Ooh,
and at the same time, nobody is bigger than hip hop.
And you know what, Curtis? We about to be coming up on a year when all this stuff started too, like Euphoria.
Yeah. And I'm covering every single one of them.
It's happening. Like it's about to get reminded again. You know, in within less than a month. So
April 19th. April 19th is when Push-Ups drop.
Yeah, Push-Ups drop. Yep.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Man, that's crazy.
That's crazy. It's almost been a year.
Yeah.
And he's still trolling. What is he? How do y'all explain that? What is he doing in this Nokia video?
I swear to God, it's so lame. It was just. I just don't understand why you would even do this. What are you doing? Like you look like a complete fool.
Yeah. we been said, man, Drake just need to pack it up and just take your ball home and just forget that the game ever happened. Forget that you challenged, you know what I'm saying, the West Coast. Just take your ball home, bro. Put it in the duffel. Just take it home and be like, dog, like I lost the game. Like, and I think that's the biggest thing we've talked about, his ego and just admitting defeat. Even if you don't have to publicly admit it, just shut the hell up and go about your business. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's the main issue with Drake right now. It's like you're still prodding. Why?
What's the end goal here? What do you think is going to happen? You think you're going to flip this back around and we getting back to 2023?
No, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Right. We see you now. We see you now in a way that we've never seen you before.
Yes. Like I said early on, he got Ja ruled, and this is worse than Ja rule, but it is what it is. All right, moving forward. Before we, because we can definitely stay here for a minute, but everybody that has questions for Curtis, definitely send in your super chats. You know what I'm saying? Send them in and we'll get to them at the end. But your current song that you sent in is called The Chili. Mm-hmm. Why'd you pick that joint?
Oh man, this is a special song for me because I think that it puts me in a light that a lot of people might not expect in terms of hearing my full story. I think when people, the funny thing about YouTube is that you show up with your best smile, you show up with your best thumbnails, your best takes at times. And I come from a generation of elders that said, when we get in this JCPenney, don't you embarrass me in front of these white folks. Mm-hmm. And with that is a permission. With that, to me, on a deeper level, is a conversation about appropriate code switching in that generation. Mm. And I think that same thing found its way to my YouTube channel. And so with this project, what the last, I think, 2 years of my journey on YouTube has been is getting back to who I am. Are showing the audience exactly who I am and how the story goes. I got a West Coast story too. I'm not just some square that just popped up and happens to know all of these Crips. Because I'm just your local neighborhood producer. Like, no, them folks would tell you straight up, like, Curtis has always been comfortable in these environments, and I'm sure they even had questions. So this song kind of paints a picture of not everybody in LA is the gangster of the gangster, and not everybody in LA is a square if they're not. There's a middle ground that says I'm aware of my surroundings, I'm street smart, I know better, and that song to me was a perfect depiction of it. Even Bang on the Trash Can to me was like a part of me that still wanted to like be liked, right? That still wanted the appeal of people who were fans of Doug to like. We're like, oh, do you like this? This right here is just me saying like, take me as exactly as I am, hate me for whatever I am, or love me for what I am. Shout out to Iman Amari who produced this. Definitely one of my favorite records in my catalog, and so real West Coasty too. So I like that too. So yeah,
real West Coasty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Has anybody ever said that shit? Real West Coasty?
No.
You might want to coin that shit.
Let me hell no. That sound affiliated out here. You can't say stuff like that with the Y. No, I'll just say it sounds quite delightful in the West Coast.
All right, here we go.
Oh man.
West Coast story.
Iman, I can see him now, screwing up their face, sizing up a square like me, like I'm.
Shout out to Iman Amari. Absolutely.
Yeah, that joint.
That's definitely West Coast. is that 4/4 time or do you know?
You gotta ask him. The pockets he had. That's the thing about it too. Working with him was dope because he challenged a lot of those norms, not just musically, but also he was like, why you talk like this when we having conversations, but you get on the camera and sometimes like you lose it. Like you trying to you're trying to clean up what you're doing. Like, why don't you just talk the way you talk? And I'm like, I didn't even notice I was doing it. And I would do it in songs too. And I'm like, damn, sometimes rappers sound like they're rapping and don't know they're rapping. Now that sounds crazy, but hear me out. Like, it's like you're being performative. Just talk to the people. That's what makes Larry June such a seamless. You go to a podcast episode and you listen to Larry June music, it sounds like you're still listening to the podcast episode. Mm-hmm. That's why we love hip hop. That's why we love artists that are authentic. DMX sounded the same way in his Breakfast Club interviews that he sound like on his records. And so I think I'm in that place now where thanks to, I just turned 40 this year. I think thanks to maturity, I think thanks to being in a place where I'm like very secure with who I am and I'm loving where this is going, I can finally talk from a place where it feels unaffected by what the outside world may say about it. And it feels like home. So I'm now at this stage, like this is probably one of my favorite stages thus far. And, I think a lot of artists get to 40 and think it's time to give it up. And I'm like, dog, I got so much more around me at arm's length that I've never had my 20-year career. Why would I stop now? I think about what this game is going to be 300 years from now. When somebody's looking back on this age of time and they're saying, you mean to tell me those 20-year-olds who were rebel rappers, they were rebelling against everything in society. They were like raging against all kind of machines. And then they got to their 30s and 40s and they lost all that. And when they got their most wise in life, they decided to stop using their God-given gift to share their knowledge and share their gift and their music. I can't imagine what that's going to look like from a historian standpoint. I want to make sure that my generation is one of the first ones to make it to where forget an age stigma. Talk your stories because you got more stories than some people have ever had in their lifetime. Share those. There's a lot of like YNs who need that wisdom or need to see life exists beyond 25.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think all of this stuff is necessary. I'm grateful now to be in a space where in all of these videos, I could just literally, not videos, in this room, I could record, mix, master, make a beat, record it, do it all live, have the content ready, go downstairs and I can go perform it. We sold tickets online to a show that I did in my downstairs living room. So like, this is a beautiful time right now. So yeah, it's a beautiful time. Beautiful time. That's all I got to say.
Dope. Yeah, when you take that lens where you're zooming out or, like zooming forward, thinking about 300 years and people looking back, I love the fact that you picked Banging on a Trash Can and then this is your current joint that you picked because it shows the growth as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Right. You were talking about, 20 years ago when you were young and you were rebelling and then now, the Chili is so reflective, and it shows, like the pockets as an MC you were talking about, tonality. That's something that you mentioned that you didn't have when you made Banging on a Trash Can, but it's one of the highlights of the Chili. You know what I'm saying? That tonality, because I feel, especially when it comes to hip hop, like bringing that story to life. Like it wasn't about having a whole bunch of energy. It's about being reflective, and reflective has a, like a somber tone to it, and you knock that out the park.
I appreciate it. I got to give props to Imano because there was a lot of coaching that went there, a lot of painful coaching at times where he was yelling. He was like, man, just get this take right, man. He got a raspy voice, but like it was good because I think a lot of people get to this stage of their career and feel like nobody can coach them no more.
Yeah.
Right? I do me, you do you, and we'll come together. But it's like, I want to stay a student no matter what I'm doing forever. And my most important thing is when I listen back to that music, does it sound like me? Does it remind me of home if I left home? And it does. It does. The tonality is something I'm paying attention to because something I notice about all my peers too, not all my peers, but a lot of my peers, they get around this age and for some reason they start rapping backwards. All of a sudden they doing like what they think is experimental. It just sounds like an alternative 1998 or 2004. And I was doing it too and had no idea I was. Because I think that is the absence of coaching. Like that's the absence of being around younger energy sometimes that can tell you like, nah, do it a different way.
So, all right. So, you talk about 300 years in the future. You talked about ChatGPT. The unreleased joint is called AI. Why? First off, why'd you name it that? And why'd you pick that?
Well, I didn't have any unreleased songs as of right now because I'm starting to build up new songs for the project. I'll be letting them go. I don't be holding on to music like that. I know a lot of artists who do. But this song is something I did with the homie Kalen Ellis, a fantastic producer. If you've never heard of him, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
He sent me this beat And he and I have been having a lot of conversations about AI, the exciting things as well as the concerning things. And then I kept hearing people saying things like, oh, but they're going to take our jobs. And I can't believe you guys are embracing it, and just being highly critical. And I'm like, I wonder if this is what people sounded like when 8-tracks became cassette tapes and cassette tapes became CDs. Then I wondered how many jobs are affected by it. If they're right about what they're saying, and maybe we should get to know some of this stuff before they charge us thousands of dollars in courses to learn it so that we can keep a job.
Yeah.
So my thing has always been embracing it with caution, understanding where the limitations may lie. But I made this song because I was like really thinking about it. I was like, damn, ChatGPT and a lot of these companies, not ChatGPT, Canva had this performance. This is what was really inspired this song. Canva had this performance that showed their brand new technology that was AI based, and it showed them rapping. It's the most cringe shit I ever seen on YouTube. They're rapping a verse that was generated by AI, and they're all rapping it, and it's like a whole like breakdancing, if you want to call it that, interlude. It is corny. But I saw that and I said, is this the AI y'all so scared about? You think that's going to replace somebody like myself or some of the best folks that are out here doing what that makes us more important? So then I made this song and I said, I am not afraid of your A&I. I got Kaylin Ellen, bitch, I never die. I'm not afraid of your A&I unless it's Allen Iverson on the baseline, run it back. Like, that's the hook. The hook is literally, I ain't afraid of your A&I. Well, unless you're talking about Allen Iverson. That's a real life problem. I don't care how old he is. Once again, going back to the whole idea of the human touch is what we all value. We're going to value it more moving forward, I think.
What's up?
All right, here we go.
Tonight, we dive into the groundbreaking advancements in artificial intelligence.
I am not afraid of your A&I. Let them play, they can never fake another eye. I'm the revolution.
Hey, man.
All those clips that you hear, news clips, were generated by AI.
I figured.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's the funnest part of telling, like the artwork, AI, because it's like, I think sometimes our folks, man, we feel like we're fighting against the machine by not understanding the tools of the machine. And meanwhile, the machine's like, okay, cool. Keep using my Twitter accounts. Keep using Facebook. Keep using Instagram because you're teaching me you anyways. For those that don't know, the machine learning occurs every day that you log into Twitter. So you putting all your anti-AI rhetoric. Meanwhile, you've already opted into the machine learning that they're doing. So my thing is, if it's this omnipresent, if it's this around us, I better get to know it and learn it if I ever think that I'm going to fight against it in the event that I need to. So this whole experiment was like, what can I do in collaboration with AI? And what can I do to show how much of a threat it's not? Because real artists, graphic designers are still needed for that touch. Yes, it's getting better. Yes, it's getting indistinguishable. But there's some things that you can see and there's some things that you can feel. There's nuance that you can pick out. There's nuance that you can just sense. And I think that's going to be more important than it's ever been before. And so I made a song like that. That's like, not all of us are running around like a chicken with his head cut off about this AI, related technology. I think some of it's exciting. I think some of it is stupid. Like the one where they had the white programmer who had a rapper named Effin' Mecca who was dropping all kind of niggas in the song. Like, what do we, like, that's the card. I'm like, what do we, what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered that story before. Did we cover that?
Yeah, we had Jay Nolan on the show.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
we did have Jay Nolan. Yeah, we did have Jay Nolan.
He talked about it a lot on the show. I don't know if you saw that episode we did with him.
Nah.
Yeah.
But nah, yeah, he was spitting the same type of facts. He was just saying, utilizing it, and even to the point where he would utilize it, I think, before a company got a hold of his music, like he would use it for that reason. So
yeah. Remember, we had that conversation around the time where people were creating fake like Drake songs and stuff like that, and then the internet was kind of like bubbling it up. It's like, oh, is this real? Is it fake? We didn't know. So then that's when we brought him on and we had that conversation. But it is one of those things where we definitely gotta know what we're dealing with, and I think there is good AI and then there is dumb as hell. What the hell are we doing AI? So.
You know what's so crazy? That's less AI and more the human being. Like what
it is.
Think that's okay to program, right?
Yep.
And I'm not saying it to say like I'm not I'm not passionate enough about both sides to be anti anything. I'm trying to understand it like everybody else, and whatever dangers that it poses, whatever things that it's doing to the nature and all these different things. I'm just like, I don't know how to stop it, but I better get to know what's going on because it's inevitable. It's the same thing that is an extension of it is what's predicting where I'm going every morning. It's part of like I've already been draining it, and I'm not saying to give up. I'm just saying keep yourself aware. That's it. You're not hurting anything by not using it except for yourself.
Right. Yeah, that was a dope song, man. Kaylin Ellis, bro. Yeah, that
insane.
That was nice. Yeah. We actually have a lost interview of him.
I lost one.
Yeah. It's
it was right after he did that EP with Lupe.
I feel like I got a backup of it somewhere, but it was
It was right after he did that EP with Lupe. Yeah, it was right after that one.
Yeah,
during the pandemic. Yep. I remember us shooting that interview.
Yep.
That's the worst.
Kevin was dope as hell, man. He was dope as hell.
That's the worst. But at least I'm sure it was worth it. I had a podcast in my earlier years of doing podcasts where somebody invited me on and we was on for 3 hours and it was just meandering. It was just bad. And then he called me back like, hey, you think we could do it again? I said, yeah, maybe one day, bro. He said, no, like right now. I said, what you mean? He said the whole thing got lost.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that'd be the worst.
Yeah.
I never went back again.
He said, yeah, one day.
Hell no. That's crazy.
All right, we're going to get into the member questions and also the super chats. So, Ken, take it away.
All right, we got Ra MC. Said, what are some helpful methods in maintaining balance between wearing multiple hats as a DIY artist and partnering with others, whether it's a creative time or a financial alignment?
Stop trying to achieve balance and look for harmony instead. Balance and harmony are very different. Balance is I take both of these bags of incense, and if they have the same amount, that should be pretty balanced. Life doesn't work like this. What you're really looking for is not a balance between your relationship with your significant other and a balance between your work days. What you're looking for is harmony. What is going to cause harmony? Well, how do you harmonize it with your significant other? You say, these are the hours that I would like to dedicate to this. We'll have times where I might go the opposite, but you gotta find a harmony between your schedules and what you're doing. You gotta show up for people the way you want them to show up for you, even though you don't show up to things, because of your work schedule. So search for harmony, not balance. Balance is the biggest lie in all of this. That's what's messing you up. The way I can wear multiple hats, how I've learned cameras and I've learned, and I'm still learning, but learned production, I've learned writing, is I take all of these things in seasons and I recognize, don't make yourself feel guilty because right now, you're in your content creation season. When you're in your content creation season, you're still learning how to learn. You're still learning how to be more be more observant. These are all skill sets that you can now in harmony take to other places. So now me being in harmony with my content creation makes me be in harmony with the way that I come up with ideas and I formulate them for songs and themes and hooks. So then what I do is I set time apart. Also too, this is another gem I can give you that I got from a book. I forget the name of the book. Stop doing financial alignment, like analytical type stuff on the same day you do creative stuff. It's going to drain you faster than anything else. If today is a day that you're working on music, don't make it a day that you're working on graphic art as well. Stay in that creative space. Now, don't make it an admin day. Matter of fact, I talked to LaRussell, he told me he sets a day every month, one day where he does nothing but admin work. That's how he's able to strike the harmony. Yep. So he's doing all of his his PRO stuff and just all the song trust and all this. That's a day where you can just be technical with the numbers, he divides stuff up, all that. Work on the website, those are technical. Creative, stop mixing them together. That's what's training you creatively. So, best advice I got for that, for sure.
That's big facts. Big facts. I definitely have admin days, like, and it wasn't even like a conscious thing I did. It was just I noticed that, like, you know, I'm doing a lot of admin work today, but I'm getting shit done. Because in my mind, I'm not getting anything done because I am a, you know, creator or whatever. So at first, I wasn't embracing it. I was like, damn, man, all I did was make phone calls. All I did was write notes, and I was like, damn, I didn't do any creation today. But then I was like, you know what? That was productive as hell. You know what I'm saying? Because I got all of that business stuff out the way. Now I have more space to create. So yeah, that's big facts, bro.
Man, especially in the relationships too.
Yeah.
Marriages, our relations, like you gotta really understand. Don't ever underestimate the power of a woman in your life and how getting right with her first can create so much peace when it's just you and your art. Because you can't just expect somebody who's never had a rapper lifestyle or producer lifestyle to just get you because they like you. That's not how human beings work, right? I remember I used to irritate the dog shit out of one of my exes because she could not stand when I was sampling a record and I would loop it around for a good 15, 20 minutes. It sounds psychotic, but I would do that to get the right chops, and she couldn't stand it. She'd leave the room. What helped was that when it was time to show up for her, I showed up. Right? When it was time to support her, I supported her. Right? And it's almost like you're trying to find ways to harmonize it and not necessarily like trying to like negotiate. No. You're harmonizing the situation. My wife, today, we just took 2 days off on Monday and Tuesday to go to Disneyland. That is unheard of for any job that I've ever had before. But because of this nature of the work that I do, I already have videos ready to go for today and Monday and Tuesday. She's willing to do all the sacrifices she does with my son. My son is on the spectrum, and so he needs a lot of attention at times when he's not in school. She's willing to take those sacrifices because she knows when we go out, we're going to stay at the West End. When we go out, I'm going to buy whatever I could buy her. Right? It's almost to the point where it's like I'm not buying that, but I am creating harmony in that she knows why I go so hard. Is to be able to enjoy the fruits of that labor with her. That's huge. If you're in a relationship, don't get in that rapper mindset of it's me against the world, and if you don't support me, then you ain't the one for me. You're gonna miss out on a lot of relationships along the way that are going to actually help you in this journey.
Yeah, true partnership, man. You definitely need that. You can't have it if you're pushing and then you're being pulled back. Like y'all have to move together as one unit and force. And yeah, I mean, yeah, so I co-sign that. Yeah, my days every Friday. Admin day, doing whatever I need to do. So that was sound advice. And shout out to Gregory who in the chat said he needed to hear that today, man. So
man, shout out to Gregory.
Salute.
Curtis King, the motivational speaker, bro.
Hey, let me get to my 50s. Maybe we start talking about that. Les Brown is always Les Brown, and it's funny because Les Brown, and I've been to a Tony Robbins event, but Les Brown has always been one of my favorite speakers, and he did something at the Georgia Dome, a 30-minute speech that's on YouTube that I watch as often as I can because it hits every single time. So shout out to Les Brown.
Yep. A couple of more here real quick. We got Fernie who said cosign DEHH into Culture United.
Come on, Justin already know about y'all. Like I don't make them decisions. Y'all act like I'm LeBron James on the Lakers and I can just get it. That's not how this works. That is that man's channel, first of all, and he makes the final decisions. I might throw some names in the hat, but at the end of the day, like we're learning from him because he is the journalist veteran in all of this. But I think that would be awesome personally. Yeah,
we had a collab with him. I don't know if you've seen that video when we came to Cali one year, and we met with him live and did a video with him.
Yeah. I didn't see the video, but I definitely caught wind.
Yeah,
a collaboration. Yeah, he been on it, man. Shout out to him. That's a good friend of mine. We talk damn near every day. Sometimes mentor when it's needed, man.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, we got Aaron who said, "Shout out to Curtis. We getting some reggaeton.
They think they funny. Okay, well, you act like I'm not the type person to take a dump in the middle of the street and then point to it and say I didn't. I'm that guy. You gonna embarrass me. So back when I was just trying to make it as a rapper, I was trying to figure out any kind of way to start doing shows because hip hop shows were like pay to play at that time. There was an artist that I met on MySpace that was bubbling, right? He was in the reggaeton space. I'm black and white. I'm mostly majority black. I have never met anybody in my family that was of Caucasian descent, so it's been black. But that doesn't stop the point of people look at me sometimes and think I might be Puerto Rican. I didn't see that, but he saw the potential, the artist I'm talking about. And so I reached out to him and I was like, man, we should do a song just like on some like, bringing the communities together, black and brown. And he was like, all right, yeah, let's do it. We ended up making a song where I thought I was making a reggaeton beat. I didn't know how to do the rhythm and all of that. Anyway, we made a song called Get Some More or something like that. And we do a video, all of that. He did a full treatment. Mind you, this dude was on a TV show called Your Mama that was popular way back when. So his name was Bubbling. This dude got me and he was like, man, we got a nice song together. We should do a video. I was in a pinstripe suit and a bald head by the end of that video.
Wow.
Not knowing, like, wait a minute, am I being ran game on right now? And then one day he just finally said it. It's like I'm Daddy Yankee and you Pitbull. Now, I know that may sound like I was like, how could you do this to me? But I was like, I'm doing sold out shows right now. In dive bars with some of the baddest Latina women that I've ever seen in my life. I did the Nicaraguan Fest. My black ass did the Nicaraguan Fest in front of 10,000 people. And they going crazy over this song. And I'm like, they walking up to me getting autographs. I said, see. So yeah, the reggaeton hits he's talking about right there, that was my one song. I think we might have did we did one that didn't work out so well. We called it hyphy tone. Don't even ask me about it. Don't even ask me about it. We tried, Lord Jesus, we tried. But say that to say that person gave me some of my first gigs, my first sold out gigs, and because of that I got my chops in and I took that back over to hip hop and I became more of a seasoned artist because I took that leap. And sometimes you got to take that leap even if it don't make sense to everybody around you. It was like, I don't get it, but you doing shows, and I shout out to you. But yeah, shout out to him. You want to talk about my reggaeton hits? I only got one. Yo, Curtis is crazy.
Yeah, L. Curtis is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm sick.
Get him, Ralph. The chili. My first thought was Nipsey. Is that you?
Nah, shout out to the marathon lives on, man. That's definitely one of my favorite. He became one of my favorite artists later on, but one of my favorite voices in hip hop and West Coast rap for sure. I just love the change that he represented. I love the intelligence that he refused to tuck. From the very beginning, he made it known. Like, oh no, this is an intelligent movement. I don't care where I'm affiliated with, where I'm from. This is an intelligent movement, and I absolutely love that. I love that from the jump because there used to be a time where if you said too many big words in LAUSD, they'd be like, "Why are you talking white?"
Okay,
and it's like, damn, like why? So the talk intelligent can't be associated with us. So to see somebody in his position do that, there's like little things that there's new stereotypes that get broken down with individuals like that don't seem like they on one particular scale of too gangster or too square. Like I love the fact that he was very open about it. He didn't change how he said it. So to me, he represents a lot of change, a lot of inspiration for me for sure.
100. Jorge, like Curtis, cuz Moni said, real spitters with substance to the front and others to the back for hip hop. Shout out the mature game like YG04, Ferg Pool, and Wale Blanco tracks. Mr. Morale effect.
Yeah, it's happening. I think shout out to my guy Justin. It's all happening right now, and that the people got fed last year. People got fed, and the kind of food that they got, they didn't know they wanted it. It's almost like the first time I grew up not having a real steak. Then I had a real steak and couldn't go back. I was like, wait a minute, this is what it's supposed to taste like?
Right.
What was this Dollar Tree shit I was eating? So I think for a lot of people musically, they've been getting off doing a very bare minimum in the name of quantity over quality. Now that you have this music here, it opens up the gates, I think, for other artists to dig deeper, because what good is it if you just have music that pacifies you?
See what you did there.
What I know. I ain't never hog tied nobody. What you talking about?
Oh shit!
Oh man,
crazy,
That was
bro.
memes before memes right there.
Yeah, it was. I tell you.
Ain't gonna hold time nobody.
I know all that about. Oh,
Young Chief, Young Chief 31. Big ups to Curtis for the GNX remix tape.
Yeah, I remixed the whole album and just put it out there. I put it out there only because I think that it was a great. At first, I used it as a way to like get back into my production season and like, you know, getting myself back up to speed so that I could prepare for my next album as an artist. But I remixed one song because I didn't like the original beat, and I was very open about this. I love GNX now, but there was one beat that I just did not care for, and it was the GNX title track. And I found myself like getting too much in my podcast bag, like complaining, and I was like, but dog, you got the ability to do something about it, so why don't you shut up and do something about it? So I sat there and I redid that beat, and then before I knew it, I just kept remixing more. And I was like, hey, you think we should just finish this whole project? And of course, my DIY is just like, go on and finish it. And so I finished it, did a Squabble Up remix with MC Breed, which was super crazy. I love that remix. I should have sent that to y'all. But yeah, that whole project is man, I enjoyed the journey of making that project because it gave all the songs a different look. Been fascinating. I'm telling you, from the perspective of producing it, you get a whole different perspective on GNX. That is a fascinating project.
Okay. And you said MC, like, ain't no future in your front, MC?
Yeah, I put him on there too. Want me to send that to you? Want me to send it real? I got this email right here. I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
Man, that's crazy.
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead. Send it. We'll play that in.
Thelius Maximus, you said the company man once, y'all are the new 106 in Park. With media being siloed, what are some tactics you have to break through the algorithm, or would you rather stay in your own lane?
With the media being siloed, what does it mean by siloed? What does that mean? I've never heard that word. The old me would have bullish my way through it, isolated from
like in corporations, you know, they would silo certain departments and stuff like that to just basically keep them separated from one another.
And why not just say solo?
Solely. Yeah.
Why you can't just say solo? I'm just playing. I wish you would just say solo. You over here being fancy with your siloed. You said the company man, once y'all are the new 106 in Park. I do believe it. We are the new 106 in Park. With the media being siloed, what are some tactics you have to break through the algorithm? I'm not breaking through the algorithm. The algorithm is a reflection of whatever habits we already have. If my habits are aligned with a lot of other people, it'll be shown in front of other people. But one thing I'm not going to do is fight with the algorithm, blame the algorithm, or give it too much power. All I can do is make sure that when I see that something that people enjoy me talking about does well, I continue to show up. I look at content as a lemon. You could take a lemon, you could slice it into all these different slices. Let's say it's 12 slices. Then you take a lemon, you squeeze that lemon full of take all the juice, all of the content out of that one slice. But the whole lemon itself is just one topic. That's the way I look at content. So I don't worry about the algorithm. I think what's happening is that the biggest threat to platforms that I myself, I'm going to speak for myself. I hope I'm not hurting or damaging any relationships y'all might have, but like the no jumpers, the academics, that side of things that I don't necessarily like the end result of the content or how they talk about people. I think the biggest threat to those platforms has never been them losing their platforms, because it can always make a new one. The biggest threat is with intelligent conversations like what y'all are doing about hip hop. It's when they become just as entertaining and the viewers put asses in seats to show up for it. To me, that's the biggest danger. And I think that's what happened after this battle, and that you saw like, I never forget the image of 15 and 16-year-old white girls breaking down here's 5 entendres you might have missed in Euphoria. What is going on? What universe am I in right now? I'm not mad at it because at least we're talking about English devices, but
Right.
I saw that, and then I saw also too, like, artists coming up who were like, yo, how do I get to rap more like somebody on the lyricist side of things? Good. Now I'm finally here for you. So I think that the beautiful thing about Rap City, the beautiful thing about 106 in Park, you could have a week where Common showed up, or you could have a week where 50 Cent showed up. You could have a week where Lil Bow Wow showed up, or you could have a week where, you know, whoever, like a Nas showed up. I think that's what I really want to see happen in this era. I don't want to see all the ignorant stuff go away. No, because that means that if the ignorant stuff all goes away, there will come a day that this intelligent movement will all go away with it. I want a time period that mirrors when you saw NWA and Fresh Prince go on the same tour. I think we're in that time right now, but it's not a return of the golden era. It's a new era that takes a little bit of a note from that era. So now you got artists who may be a Sexy Red that can exist in the same lane as a Rhapsody or in the same show as a Rhapsody. I don't want to get rid of it. I just want to make sure the game balances itself back. There's a time where you got F the Police, and then you also got De La Soul on the radio, right? I'm talking about in this space now where the consumer has more power than they know in terms of who they latch onto. We are the new 106 in Park now. We are the new Rap City. I had to think about it. I was like, damn, why didn't Rap City come back? And I said, stupid, because you're supposed to do it. Mm-hmm. What's more organic than I had Mick Jenkins in this room?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What other year is that possible? I got Mick Jenkins in this room, not only telling his story, his frustrations, but also he made a song with me on live in a 5-hour live stream. We are the new Rap City. And that's no disrespect to Tigger, because I love what he does and I love the example he sets. But I think that the new version of that sometimes looks unrecognizable because we're looking for a carbon copy instead of the evolution. I think we're the evolution of that.
Yeah, it's crazy. We were just talking about the algorithm and stuff, and just really just focusing in and honing in on what we do here. You know, like we came off rip, like off the jump, way back, just talking about music and the music that we love, regardless of where it was at, mainstream, underground. It didn't really matter, man. It was just like, who is it and we're gonna cover it? You know, and yeah, sometimes chasing that algorithm, you end up chasing your tail, and you're not going anywhere, bro.
Right.
So yeah, we just wanted to make sure we just get back to the basics, man, and just talking to dope folks like yourself and other artists that we've had on the show, covering dope projects, and not really, you know, solely focus on the end results of that in terms of of what it does. Like when it gets out, it's like, did somebody listen to it? Does somebody like it? And did we put somebody onto it? And are they able to grow, you know, from what we were able to do?
Can I add this? And I was going to say this for my platform, but I want to leave y'all with this. I do want to leave y'all with this word, right, real quick. Because I'm starting to see that as my platform gets larger, as I start to cover stories of artists that, you know, sometimes feel either close to where the independent artists are at, they feel a little bit entitled to platforming them, right? I had somebody leave a comment that says you need to show more love to underground artists, not recognizing that I had a 7-year series in which I gave reviews on every Monday, 7 hours at a time, 8 hours at a time, giving feedback on people's music, and the audience are giving feedback as well as promotion, right? But then it dawned on me, I've been on both sides of that table where I've been an artist trying to get on the platform, and now I have a platform, and I'm realizing don't nobody owe you shit. Don't nobody owe no artist nothing because you dope. So what? Go do something and make it newsworthy to talk about. Find a way to build up content. If you're not getting interviews, why the hell do you not have a YouTube channel?
Mm-hmm.
If nobody's checking for your music, you don't have an opportunity not to make content. You don't have a choice. This is the job you chose. Complaining about why do I have to wear the apron every single day? Why do I got to check in every single day? They didn't used to have to do this back in. Why do I got to wear work shoes that are non-slip? Because you signed up for the job. So I think there's a lot of folks that feel entitled, and I'm glad that I never was one of those where I'm like, damn, bro, I should get more looks and I recognize that what y'all doing requires all of y'all to be away from your families. It requires all of y'all to set up, be patient with the process. I respect it because I have to do it. Now more so than ever, I'm like, nah. The way that we help the folks we want to see shine is we gotta shine so that we give a good enough platform to bring and share with them. But they gotta do their work too. They gotta do their work too.
Yeah. Yep. Two more, man, real quick. Donovan learned a lot about DistroKid and a bunch of stuff from watching your videos during the pandemic. Thanks and appreciate you. The music is dope too.
Thank you. I don't know. I can't speak too much for DistroKid nowadays, but when I was there, I definitely was riding for him. Don't put my name associated right now. No, he's moving a different direction now.
Last one is from Joe. How can you make time to rap while producing music for yourself and others?
How do you make time to love your mom and also make love? How do you make time to love your mom and also make time to love your girl? How do you make time to love your mom, and then also how do you find time in your heart to love your dad too? I love it all. I love it all. How can you make time to rap? I don't have to make time to rap because I want to rap. And when I want to rap, I got a microphone in front of me while producing for others. It sounds like this question might be loaded in, you got to make a decision what you really want to do. Sometimes we do things because there is an itch, a burning that we cannot get away from. I have to produce, I got to produce, or I have to rap. And then we do things that are like, it's just necessity. I'm just producing because it's getting me in front of people and it's helping me, yada, 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 yada. Maybe you just don't want to produce. If you got to carve out time, maybe there's one thing that you shouldn't do. I do believe in the acronym FOCUS, follow one course until success. Had it not been for production, there's a lot of conversations about TDE that never happened. But that required me being selfless and then knowing the moments to put the foot on the gas and be selfish. I may have a selfish 6 months this year, but that came after giving so much production to everybody else. And what that does is that it builds cachet. It builds value. So don't worry about trying to like make time, dog. You've been given the privilege to do both. So if you don't want to do both, you got to have a really solid conversation with yourself about why.
Straight up. Curtis King, motivational speaker, man. Trying to tell you.
He branded me.
Advocating for it, dog.
Office hours are from now.
Right.
They can't have me now. I got more raps I got to get off. They can't have me now.
Harmony, man. Harmony.
You know I like that last thing. I know what the hell I don't want to do. What I don't want to do is dressing up and being like, everybody stand and put your 2 fists in the air. I don't want to do that right now. I don't want to do it. I know that I enjoy the autonomy of being able to get in this room and say, what do you want to create today? Because at the end of the day, I'm not a rapper. I'm not a producer. I'm not a content creator. I'm just a creator. I'm a creative, excuse me. And because I'm a creative, that gives me the flexibility to do whatever the hell I want today. I'm grateful. It took me a long time. Yes, I am 40 now, and I'm grateful now to have as much wisdom, as much patience with the process, because now I can just get up and say, how do you want to conquer the world today? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Nah, man, you definitely dropped a lot of gems, from personal to being a creative to just growing as a man. So, we appreciate you. Hopefully this is the first of many collaborations we have with both of our platforms. You know what I'm saying? But, man, we appreciate you and the time that you gave us today, bro.
Man, thank you for allowing me to come on here and get off a few rants. I do appreciate y'all platform and what y'all are doing. it's platforms like yours that I look over and I say, we in good hands. We are in good hands. What a time. What a time to be alive and creating. Y'all are the new 106 in Parks, the new Teen Summits, the new Rap Cities. Like it can't be just one platform. We need all of our platforms. Oh, I almost forgot. Let me go ahead and send this over to you before I forget. Squabble up. Shout out to that remix album over here, right here. Hold on, I gotta leave you with this. I think you might like this. All right, here it is. Squabble up. I just sent this over right now. Boom, there it is. But yeah, thank y'all so much for allowing me to chop it up with you and your audience.
Oh, of course.
You just forgot. I don't know if you was gonna.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you want me? You want me to throw the live?
I mean, it seemed like you was trying to end the show. It seemed like you was trying to end the show, B.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
I'm just saying. That's what it seemed like to me.
No.
Me too. I don't understand.
I was just making sure it seemed like that to you. Oh, okay.
Hey,
yo,
and you gonna let me play point guard or not?
Hey, I mean, you seem like
because your question is the period.
Okay.
To everything.
All right. Hey, I appreciate that, brother.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta let me get the words out so that way you can end it.
If y'all tired of it, just let me know. I know I be talking. If y'all tired, just let me know.
No. Well, while they doing that, where did you send the? Oh, never mind. I got you. Got it.
Right there. There you go. There you go.
So you want me to do it actually before or after that?
After.
After. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
After?
Yeah.
Oh.
Before?
It don't matter to me.
After.
I thought we were gonna
That's
ride
how we
after
end
that.
the show.
Okay. So what y'all doing?
Play the remix.
All right. Let me load it up real quick. Hold on. Let me load the track up real quick. Get that right here. Boom, boom.
I apologize for causing all this division tonight. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
no, not at all.
This is what we do.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, that's how they roll.
It just don't always get caught on camera. That's all.
It's all good. It's all good.
All right, here we go.
I am reincarnated. I'm a stargazing. Life goes on, honey, and her my babies. Woke up looking for the block. Keep a horn on, check on my seat. I peep ownership. The blueprint is by me.
Shout out to Lord Racer in the building too. He kind of brought me down that train of thought. Like he was what record he pulled. He told me, he was like, man, you should try to sample this record. And that record reminded me of the MC Breed record. Shout out to Flint, Michigan. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. And it all happened live. So I got this all on video.
That's
where
crazy.
The whole thing was like, it's like a stream of consciousness. They all see it too. Like they'll be in there for them 6 hours sometimes that I take to make some beats or make remixes. I'm at a place now where like, I don't owe nobody no favors. I don't owe nobody I could produce and do whatever I want in the process. Like, it's a good place to be at because I feel like this is the most free creatively that I've been. So, yeah, that's the remix project. It's out right now. CurtisKing.com. Yeah.
The audacity,
joint, bro.
Yeah, no, that show's
the
crazy,
audacity, and you killed it. Like that's,
I know, right?
Like that takes guts to touch Squabble.
Does
up.
it?
I think so, bro.
I appreciate that. I really, honestly, not even like trying to like, I'm not even trying to cap or trying to make it. I sit in here and I have these ideas that I'm already expecting to be the only one that likes.
Wow. Nah, yeah, man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Hey,
little
shout out
young
to
buck
Gregory.
that's
He was asking me, does it bump in the whip? Yes, that shit bumps.
Oh man,
Come on now.
Repeat.
Yeah.
On repeat. Nah, that shit's hard as fuck.
Arterial said, how can you make a West Coast sound more West Coast? Like, he was like,
Yeah.
how do you do that?
I was just surprised how well it worked with the remix. When I heard it, they'll tell you I was in here acting a damn fool. I was like, ooh, I'm on the music, and I just be like, ooh. It's like watching your team like whooping somebody's ass, or you watching a boxing match. That's exactly what that energy is for me. When it connects, man, there's no feeling in the world like it.
Yeah,
that's crazy, bro. But yeah, man, like, so every show, like I asked the artists at the end of the show, man, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, so I'm not sure, but like, is Curtis King your rap name as well, or you just go by Curtis King here?
No, that's my rap name. Everything is underneath the same brand.
Everything's Curtis King, and I know you said the Curtis is from you say high school or something like that.
Middle school.
Yeah, so I always ask, like, you know, what's the meaning behind your name? Like, how did you come up with your rap name, your persona outside of your government? Like, how does that come about?
The shout out to Jake One, the legendary hip hop producer. He told me I got the most un-hip hop name of all time. My heart was broken because he did. I did a Red Bull beat battle one time, and he was one of the judges, and he was like, Curtis King. I was like, yeah. He was like, that's one of the most un-hip hop names.
Yeah, we did a Red Bull. Yeah, we judged the Red Bull. Well, we didn't judge. We did a Red Bull thing too.
No, I think we were just there.
Yeah, we went to it. Yeah,
crazy event. But Curtis King is a combination. So the rebranded story, is that I went to a middle school called Curtis Middle School, and during that time I had a lot of insecurities. I was not the person that you see in terms of who I am today. I was not very vocal. I was very quiet, believe it or not. And when I conquered those insecurities, I became Curtis King. The middle school was called Curtis Middle School. It was named after a pilot named Glenn Hammond Curtis. Only Curtis you ever see with 2 S's, right? Mm-hmm. The real story is that I had a homie that went to King Drew Medical Center, which is it's a school that's close to Watts. And I went to middle school with him and Curtis. And so we just combined the names, but I had to rebrand it because I got it tatted. He left the group, so.
Damn.
I showed that man the tat. I was like, man, Curtis King's forever. He was like, not for me, it's not.
Oh
Man.
I was like, I can't get this removed. I don't got enough money. I barely had enough money to get the tat. But no, it's all good. That's my dog. But like, no, that really is it, is that I conquered those insecurities. And I feel like that's been everything that I've done along the way. And then you see me succeed with understand, like, even though you may meet me at a certain level and you be like, he's not for me. I think he's a cornball. I think he's loud. I think he's talkative. I think he's too nice. Whatever you think it is, understand I've had to work.
Right.
Become this human being. And so one thing I'm not afraid of doing is being the underdog. The latest, even after my storied 20-year independent career, a certain YouTuber out here called me a Z-list producer and rapper. And I said, well, let's see how far a Z-lister can take it in this year. And so I've just been on a run of interviews, and it's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful journey. I'm grateful that, God allows me to continue to wake up and outdo what I've done before.
Yeah, I saw you just recently had Rob Markman. You had Daylight.
I was a week right there. Daylight, Mick Jenkins, my guy Mars, all in the same week. Thursday, that insane. Thursday, and who else? So now this weekend is gonna be even crazier. So I got he used to go by Bad Luck, but he goes by Good Luck. It's gonna be on the channel tomorrow. I got Bad DJ Luck. Charisma is gonna be on here on Saturday, and we got, man. One thing I'm not gonna stop doing is producing original content because I know it gives a lot of folks things to react to. So I'm just grateful to be in this space because it's like, damn, I'm doing this from home.
Right. Damn.
That'll never not trip me out.
Right. Yeah, shout out to you, man, for real.
Yeah,
man.
for real. The grind is real, bro.
Likewise, thank you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. But everybody that is still here watching, next week we have another The Listening. This is a producer that if you followed that in hip hop, you should go back to, I want to say like 2011, 2012. And he has been on the show. We did a whole interview. So go back, let's see if you guys can guess who it is. We're gonna start promoting it tomorrow, so make sure you follow us on all socials and all of that type of stuff. But shout out to, he is a producer. Shout out to him. He's gonna be our first only producer that we're gonna have on The Listening. So, you know what I'm saying? But again, Curtis, we appreciate you. And first of many collabs, man.
Come on, I'm here. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. For real. Nah, it was good talking to you, man. For real. It's good to finally meet you too.
Man, we gotta make sure it happens in person too. We're gonna make that happen for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Though.
Next time we in LA or you come to the A.
Man, yeah, that's gonna happen sooner because I gotta go check out shout out my guy Stolen Drums. I definitely gotta pull up to his event. Controller Rise. Yeah. I definitely want to come up there and just show up. So much love to you. Thank y'all once again.
Yes, sir. Let us know, man.
Absolutely.